Hello everybody, it has been a very long time since I've been here, but basically life has been really crazy and there's just no easy way to say this, but I wanted to make this video just to sort of like explain what's been going on with us, and to just talk about this topic in general. So this video is called We Almost Bought a House, but we didn't. We decided to go another alternative route for living yet again. And if you've been here a while, you might know that we've lived out of our car, we've lived out of the truck, we've lived in a tent on public land for a while. We lived in an old vintage RV, Class C RV that didn't run. We've lived on organic farms, we've done work exchange, we've lived in people's basement dungeons. We've pretty much done it all. I mean, yeah, of course, basic like apartments, and we just moved out of a house that was like a homestead. So yeah, this video is sort of about like what we decided to do instead of buying a house. So basically, long story short, I've had this dream to homestead and to, you know, kind of be self-sufficient pretty much for the last 10 years. It was just so, it just like inspired me so much to live that way and to just be able to grow and prepare all your own stuff. Well, so that's why we wanted to buy a house, and you know, I held on to that for as long as I could till the very end, pretty much. Our last living situation was we rented this cabin in the woods, and it had a homestead setup. So there was a small stable and a chicken coop, some garden beds, and then we made our own garden beds and stuff. So we pretty much had the opportunity to try homesteading before actually getting into it and being fully responsible for it. And then along the lines of that, another one of my dreams was to pretty much start a small farm. And I've been working on a small farm for the last year, or I worked there one season and I'm currently there right now. And I guess through all of the experiences of doing this, I have come to the conclusion that it's just not for me. And my partner, Austin, if you don't know. On the little homestead that we rented, we had 4 chickens, a goldfish, some snails, and then our 2 dogs, Sparky and Ollie. And it was just kind of funny because I wanted chickens so bad for eggs, and because they, you know, they can help with amending the soil, and you can make some compost and, you know, all that. But I've never had chickens before, and I learned that they're just a lot of work. They're way more work than you would think. And then I worked on this farm, and we grew mostly tomatoes. I love tomatoes. I love working with tomato plants. I think that if there's any situation for farming, for me it would be tomatoes. I love them. Our story is we've been renting this cabin. We've been practicing homesteading. I've been hoarding food in the house and like bought a chest freezer and just like hoarded food, prepping, whatever. And we started looking for a house. We got pre-approved for a loan. And then, you know, we got a buyer's agent. We did all of it. We got so far down the buying the house path. We didn't ever put an offer in on a house, but we were looking at properties and contemplating that path. And the more and more we went down that path, the more wrong it felt, and the more we argued, and it just started to feel really wrong to do it. The last 3 years, we have been working our asses off to make money to show that we could buy a house, but the lifestyle that we were living doing that, and the lifestyle we were living at this cabin, and the amount of time we were putting into working pretty much showed us that that path wasn't worth it. Working like, I mean, Austin would probably work, I wouldn't even put it past to like say 60 hours a week. We were running a business. He was doing that primarily. And then I was working with him and working on this farm. And then over the winter, we worked at a ski resort. And we spent most of our time working. And when we weren't working, we were just so burnt out, tired, that we couldn't do anything but sit on the couch. So things that were important to us, like healthy eating and hiking and being out in nature, just totally disappeared. And even though we lived in the middle of the woods, we just didn't even appreciate it because we were so burnt out, tired from, just working so hard. And our business is like a blue-collar business, so we're like doing hard, laborious things every day. And then I work on this farm doing hard ass work. At the end of March, where I was like, I cannot take this anymore, Austin got an injury during snowboarding season and had to get surgery. And we've just been kind of, not living our life to the fullest because we are working way too hard for something that we don't even want. So the real cherry on top of this going down the wrong path thing for us was putting our loan, what we were pre-approved for our loan, we put it into a mortgage calculator, and our interest rate that we got approved for was like 8.3%. And we were only approved for like, I think it was like 180, but to be honest, we probably couldn't afford that. Might have been a little bit too much on us and not enough time for just relaxing. For a $150,000 house with that interest rate of 8.3%, by the end of our loan term, 30 years, we would have paid $500,000 for a $150,000 loan house. And even if you decided to pay it off sooner, it didn't matter. You still had to pay the entire amount of interest for that loan. And you could talk to me about refinancing and all that, but I just don't. It's like, yeah, right. Why would I do that? That's literally insane. So, I really got us thinking about alternative choices. So we contemplated even looking at getting just bare land and putting something simple on it that was sort of off-grid. But even that route wasn't for us because of the there's just so many rules for putting structures on land and all of that. And then you gotta worry about like other things like a septic tank and blah blah blah. So we were like, okay, that's not gonna work either. So we decided to buy a camper and live full-time in a camper. It seems like this is something that's super popular in the United States, at least. People living in RVs and campers full time, and riding around with the seasons and putting home wherever you park it, like they say, right? Home is where you park it. And I guess we've contemplated van life, but it's not really big enough for our life to live in a van, so we bought this new camper. And it's the first time we've ever had something that is brand new and not full of mold. Like literally every place we've lived since college was just completely full of mold. We bought a camper and we're gonna be living in this camper full time. The nice thing about this is if we can pay it off early, we will not have to pay the full interest amount that is set for our loan term. So if we decide we want to pay this off this year, we're not going to have to pay the whole like 10 or 15 years of, I think it's only, maybe it's only a 5-year loan. I don't know. We're not going to have to pay all the interest. So, and we're pretty confident we are going to be able to pay that off pretty quick. So that's what we did. We bought this camper, and the nice thing is we were able to park it in a nice campground where we were allowed to sort of do our own landscaping and decorating of the yard. So it's like way better than where we were just living. We are able to do what we want here, and it's not a problem at all. So yeah, we're pretty happy, we're pretty confident in this, and since we've lived alternatively for most of the last 10 years, doing things like boondocking and BLM camping, I think we're gonna be more than okay, and we're a little bit seasoned for this. So yeah, it's just these are some interesting times, and it's interesting to experiment and to do things that are different, because the traditional way of buying a house or even renting an apartment isn't for everyone. So I mean, it's definitely not for me. I get very bored if I stay in one place too long. So this is helpful for my needs. And we love traveling. We love going to different skate parks and different hiking parks and doing different things with the dogs. We love trying out all kinds of restaurants. So I think, yeah, this is going to be a fun time. I think that's all I have to say right now. As far as Adventures Across goes, I'll probably have to do another update about this in a different video. The last time I did an update was like a year and a half ago, and I was basically saying that I had this plan to travel around the country and have meetups with people. And it's funny that I said that, because it seems like it is going to happen after all. So we'll see about that. I'll probably update more about that on Instagram than YouTube. So if you're not following me on Instagram, you can find that like here. Adventures Across is the tag. Well, is the handle. Adventures Across is the handle. So you can stay updated with that. And I am creating fun art things with my new art account. That is adventuresacross.art on Instagram. I'm still making like cosmic and earth art. And I have this cool idea that for like, I'm just not going to share right now, but I have really cool ideas coming into fruition. So we aren't going to be traveling until the middle of fall. So we'll be gone from the middle of fall until about May next year. So we'll be traveling in the Southwest, we think, and the South. But right now we live in the Midwest. And that's where we like to live in the summers. So, but anyway, thank you for listening to this video. Are you a full-time RVer? Are you into foraging and plants and nature? Or are you more into the cosmic stuff and the astral plane? Because I know that all of those things sort of fit in here on Adventures Across. Yeah, let me know. Let me know who's watching this, and I want to hear what you have to say about the housing market and choosing different ways of living. Just chat with me in the comments. Let's start some conversations. Alright, until the next video, we'll see you later. Bye!